Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am Aaron St. Denis at FFMadScientist. Below me in the green is Jeremy Shulman at FF_Rebel. Down at the bottom in the red is Jesse Moeller at JMoeller05. And the blank square is the yellow. That would be SC Romero, who is a little late. Someone had a little too much fun with Rumble last night, and he's not with us yet, but we're going to leave the square there because he will be joining us. This is the Fantasy Football Universe. Alrighty, let's get into it. Sunday morning here, got some football going on, getting ready to kick off in an hour and a half. 3 o'clock for Ravens Chiefs.
Yes, sir.
All right, we are here for the 2024 rookie sneak peek of Adonai Mitchell. I couldn't say it. I had to rehearse this name 100 times. I've heard it as Adonai, and I've heard it as Adonai. It's Adonai, right?
Adonai. Yeah, Adonai.
I'm not bailing you out on that one.
Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver for Texas. I've rehearsed it 50 times, still got it wrong. That's funny, though. One of my first podcasts, I rehearsed the other guy's last name like 15 times because I couldn't remember it. Got into the show, and I screwed up my own name. Got his name right. Screwed up my name. It's like I've never heard anyone get their own name wrong, and I'm like, that's me. I am one of a kind, boys. Like I said, this one is Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver out of Texas. This one, you, Jeremy? Yes?
Yes, Mr. St. Denis. Yeah, that was me. Looking into the Texas guys, and I'm really interested to take a look at Worthy and then Sanders moving forward because Mitchell looked awesome.
I like Brooks as well, but if you want the full write-up by Jeremy, head over to fantasyfootballuniverse.com. Wide receiver out of Texas, 3-star recruit out of Cane Ridge High School in Antioch, Tennessee. Sure, I pronounced that properly. Named 2019 Tennessean. Well, it's a lot of hard words. We can't just have Bob in here. Like this whole thing just tough.
Sorry, Bob.
Attended University of Georgia in 2021 and won back-to-back natties with the Bulldogs. Even caught the go-ahead touchdown to seal the victory in 2022. That means he beat Michigan. Oh, I don't like this guy anymore. After a limited role amongst a talented pool of Georgia pass catchers, he left for Texas. He was the 3rd overall player and best wide receiver available in the transfer portal, according to 24/7 Sports, where we get a lot of our rookie recruiting anyways. So they're really good for kind of pre-college and in-college transfer portal recruiting info. There he doubled his previous season's high in receptions and yardage while posting 11 touchdowns. True breakout for him as a junior, whose performance compelled him to join the 2024 NFL Draft. So I guess we will start with, let me go get into the measurables, and then I'll throw it to you, Jeremy, because you wrote it. Measurables, 6'4", 89th percentile, 196 pounds for 36th percentile, 21 years old, and a junior. So he's a big guy, kind of a little lanky, but not too bad. What are your overall thoughts here, Jeremy?
Yeah, he doesn't look as lanky as kind of the weight suggests. He is a big-bodied guy. We'll see, because it wasn't Mitchell, but it was another guy. Oh, it was Leggett, I think, who we'll talk about on another day, who I think just was measured at the Senior Bowl and came in 3 inches shorter than his listed height.
Oh, I don't have that one. I wrote this last night. I didn't see the update. I think I wrote the Leggett one, which we'll get to tomorrow. Oh, that's not good because I think I pretty much pancaked him to begin with. So
yeah, we'll triple check that before we do the pod. But yeah, 6'4". We'll see if he stacks up there because he looks a little bit bigger than 196 at that height. Regardless, man, I feel like this guy can do it all. Maybe he doesn't have that true elite speed that the top guys in this class have, but he's fast enough. He looks like a big alpha. I think his problem is that Xavier Worthy's just a little bit better. Quinn Ewers is just a little bit worse than probably he should be, and some of that was holding him back. But aside from strengths and weaknesses, which we'll get into in a second, this guy, and I want to check my notes here. He beat McKinstry for a slant TD in the fourth quarter, 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter in their win against Bama. 1 touchdown in the fourth quarter of the semis where they just barely lost against Washington. This guy keeps showing up in big-time situations and doing it against elite corners in college football. I liked him a lot.
What do you think, Jesse?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing for him was going to Georgia and playing with some of the most talented players who are currently in the NFL right now. But like he talks about it growing up, like that was the get right moment for him because he stepped on the field and the coaches are like, all right, if you want to show us what you got, show it now because the talent is just absurd at Georgia. And we've seen it. They've just put in a bunch of Hall of Fame or first round picks and all of that. So it was a big growing moment for him. And the reason why he transferred to Texas is because he has a kid in Texas. So that is why he went from Georgia to Texas because he left there and it was just easier for him.
That's an interesting note. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was reading up a bit on him. So
it kind of makes me feel better. I hate these guys who go from big powerhouse school. I mean, Texas isn't exactly a small school, but I hate it when the guys they leave from Ohio State and then they go blow up at like Tulsa or something. It's like, oh yeah, sure, it couldn't handle the bigger competition. So that's a useful note. I like that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's just a good overall prototypical wide receiver. Like he more fits the mold. He's not the big hulking wide receiver we're talking about, but he has the size, he has the speed, he has a lot of the intangibles. So the production profile might not be there as we're looking at right now. Like he's never crested over 1,000 yards in his career, but overall he does enough where he's going to get boosted because NFL teams like what he offers to them, the skill set wise.
Yep. Top year was last year for Texas, 55 catches, 845 yards, and 11 touchdowns. Huge spike in touchdown. Huge spike overall, I guess. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Okay, guess we can get into Jeremy's scouting report. Big-bodied receiver who plays bigger than his frame. Prototypical alpha wide receiver, though he could put on a few pounds. Excellent ball skills and concentration during contested catches. Very good body control within his routes and in the air. Versatile enough to work in the screen game and on end arounds. And good separation skills. Was there one strength there that really you found, stood out for you more than the others? Or well-rounded?
I feel like we're going to say he was very well-rounded. I was surprised in that regard, but I think we're going to say this about a lot of these guys in this second or third tier grouping, wherever you end up putting them. Really great contested catch skills. I mean, he would just go up for the ball, and he did it against elite corner play as well. Caught a few on McKinstry in that Bama game. I just thought he was very well-rounded, but yeah, contested catches was impressive.
I found it might be different for you because you were gone away for the first week. So a lot of the early profiles you didn't get to write, but I've really noticed that the first week or 10 days of me writing profiles, I was going, oh, am I ever going to say anything bad about any of these guys? I've noticed a considerable drop over the last week where I sit there and I'm going, oh, this guy. Ooh.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, no, like I said, tomorrow, Xavier Leggett, not my favorite profile so far. So we'll get to that. But how about you, Jesse? What did you think for strengths here?
I mean, when you kind of watch the tape, you notice the things he does really well. And he uses his size to an advantage, especially like he puts his hands really late. So like he gives himself that advantage with his athleticism because the longer you wait on the ball, the slower the reaction time for the corner is. So he's very good at doing that. Particularly, he can go up and get the ball too. So like that combined together makes him at like a worst case, he could be a touchdown threat down at the red zone areas and do that. But like overall, there's a lot to like with him. I wish I would have seen more production from him. But, that is what it is. You can only have what you have. So overall, like he's still a good body of progress. There are some things that he needs to work on, but I do like him as a prospect.
And those things to work on, route running is good, but needs some work developing his route tree. Could be better against zone and learning to sit in the holes. Lacks effort at times, especially when plays aren't directed towards him. And as most wide receivers are, he struggles with the run. Was Jeremy, when you look through these, was there anything here, like were they little things you thought he could just work on? Or was there anything here, like the lack of effort kind of scares me? Was there anything that really stood out where you're like, it was a huge red flag for you?
No, I didn't see massive red flags. I think the biggest one is his yards per route run. If we like that metric, and most of us do, it's low. It's like 1.6 or something, 1.7, something.
So he's
crazy,
running more?
Something crazy low. The problem is, or I guess the consideration is, he's working with Worthy, on the other side. He's got Sanders there to compete with and Brooks. And, we don't know exactly how good Ewers is yet. There's a lot maybe we can excuse away, but it's still a big concern. So we'll just have to monitor that and see what the combine looks like.
You know what we're going to find out this year? If Quinn Ewers is any good, because he has nobody left. He's got a whole new crop of players. How about you, Jesse? What stood out for you here? Weakness?
Yeah, it's kind of, he comes in waves. Like certain times he lacks a little effort, and you notice that where it's not consistent, and that kind of like brings down the floor. And the route running, like we're talking about here, and the weaknesses, like you kind of see it. He's not this totally refined, all like just a step in day one, be like your wide receiver too. But they're basically, if you're drafting him, you're hoping the team can improve him and build him up as a wide receiver to basically use the skill set that he has, and you transfer that into like making him a good NFL wide receiver. But yeah, there are some concerns with him.
All right, to wrap it up, we will head down to pre-draft analysis. Expected by Jeremy to go in the late first round. He has ideal landing spot being Buffalo. Why Buffalo? Why late first round? Jeremy, what do you think?
First of all, I was taking a look at some of the early mocks. Jeremiah, I don't think had him in his first round, but Mel Kiper and someone else from ESPN did have him in the late first round going to Buffalo. It just made complete sense to me. Gabe Davis, we're expecting to leave. Stephon Diggs, we know he needs help. If Buffalo was severely lacking at wide receiver and it showed up at the worst possible moment in the playoffs, we know their issues. Sure, they could go O-line. Sure, they could go D-line. Every kind of competing team needs that. But if the Bills are smart, I think they'll go after a wide receiver here. And why not a guy who kind of fits the Gabe Davis mold, but could grow into something that is a little bit more well-rounded than Gabe Davis was, and really be a true complement to what they have in Stephon Diggs, at least while he's there for the next year or two, because that man's being paid a lot of money, and they really can't afford to let him go.
It's funny because I think every receiver who's projected to go in the late first is projected to go to Buffalo, KC, Baltimore. And I think what's going to happen is what KC did last year. Like, you've seen Baltimore draft one early, but KC, they took one with the end of the second round pick. So I think that's where we're going to see a lot of these late first round receiver picks. I think are going to fall to the second round because not all three of there's 30 receivers projected to go to Buffalo, KC, Baltimore. I'd be surprised, maybe Buffalo takes one, maybe KC doesn't. We end up with two out of the whole group and everyone else falls. So what did you think, Jesse? Where do you like him?
Yeah, he's basically like Jeremy's talking about. He's going to be a downfield threat, and that's going to like really accentuate his skill set. So obviously it makes sense to pair him Buffalo or Kansas City because Kansas City loves this exact type of wide receiver. It's like MVS, you have Justin Watson, you have all of these guys that fit that prototype. And these type of wide receivers cost a lot of money because they're stretching the field and opening up the defense. That's why teams spend the draft capital on them and all that. So yeah, like I think he's in that late first to like mid second round range, like exactly that. Like some teams going to take a shot and use him there. And like, what's better than going to a Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes offense? Like there's not much else better than that. So yeah, I'm on board with that.
That's what I have. I have KC as well. So, all right. Well, that is a wrap for the 2024 rookie sneak peek of Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver out of Texas. If you want to check out Jeremy's full written breakdown, head over to fantasyfootballuniverse.com or check back again tomorrow for the next player in our series. I believe it's Xavier Legette, wide receiver, South Carolina. Thank you all for tuning in. For Aaron, Jeremy, Jesse, and the SC blank screen down there, thank you all for tuning in. Fantasy from John Cena. The SC blank screen. I like that. Take care, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.